Hello there, this is DBT, and this is Art of Rooms. And alright, let's continue playing some more Asphalt Legends Unite, and today I'm playing on the Nintendo Switch because of course I need to give you a little bit of an update as to what has been going on since this version just released a couple of days ago, so that has given me more time to play with it, to figure it out, to see what is what, and of course people have been doing the same and they've been very vocal about some things that they don't like. We're gonna be talking about the compensation situation, the Asphalt Diamonds, and more importantly, the update that was the physics, the new physics in the game and how that has been affecting people's impression of the game very negatively. Before I jump into it though, if you like my content, please hit the like button on this video and subscribe to the channel because remember, I post literally every single day so there's always something to watch, and in doing both of those things, you help the channel to be discovered. So go ahead, do it for DBT. But alright, first topic, compensation. Now, of course, this game was released a month later than it did in all of the other platforms, and because of that, GameLoft were like, okay, we're gonna give you some compensation, some catch-up gifts and whatever, regardless of how useful or useless, really they're mostly useless, those rewards are. We have not gotten them just yet. It's not just you. I haven't gotten it either. Nobody has gotten them. Why? I don't know. I guess GameLoft is just waiting a little bit before they send those gifts out, but yeah, we were supposed to get at least one free car, which is the Aston Martin DB something, I don't quite remember the name, and some blueprints for some cars here and there and a couple of tokens. And yeah, we haven't gotten any of that just yet, so well, all we can do is wait and hope for the best. But alright, second topic that I wanted to talk about is the situation with the Asphalt Diamonds, because I have seen some people saying things similar or in the vein of, well, GameLoft, now that they added the diamonds, they're making things that were free to play pay to win. Now, that's not really the case. The diamonds is just an intermediary currency for things that already were pay to win. So, for example, this pack that I have right here, right, the Pro Pack B class, this stuff, if it's available in the global version, this is available for money, not for tokens, so not for anything. Anything that you see right now being sold for diamonds, it's something that was pay to win anyway. And the things that you could buy for tokens, you can still buy for tokens, like all of these packs over here. All of this is still available for tokens as usual. So in that sense, it's not like they have added or they replace token purchases for the pay-to-win currency. No, that's not how this works. So yeah, these things that you buy for diamonds were pay-to-win anyway. Now, there's something to mention about this though, and that is that it seems that it makes things a bit more expensive. How do I know this? Well, you know that the Legend Pass, normally the basic version of the Legend Pass costs $10. Now, $10 in my local currency, it's 200 MX. Now, because I already purchased, it doesn't show over here, but it gives you an idea, right? It should be 200 if I were to buy it. So, there is also this other thing that they added recently in the global version, which is the Unite Fund. And this thing also costs $10, unless I'm mistaken, but I don't believe that I am. So, $10. So over here, they sell it for diamonds, and well, it's 1,000 diamonds, so that should be $10, right? Because that is the normal price that they would sell it for. Well, if I see how much it is to get 1,000 diamonds, it actually is 25% more expensive, because it's not 200 like $10 would be. It's 250. That's a 25% increment in the price. So if I want to buy this, I have to pay apparently some sort of diamond tax, or I don't know what this is, but it does show more expensive for me. Now, it could just be on my side, or maybe I'm straight up mistaken about this. So why don't you guys let me know in the comments. Go ahead and check the price of these two things. How much is the Legend Pass for you on the Switch? And then how much it is to buy the Unite Fund. The price should be the same in theory, but for me, it is different. Buying it with these diamonds, it's 25% more expensive. So I'm curious to see if it's the same thing for you, or if I'm mistaken about this whole thing and I'm misremembering and the Unite Phone was always more expensive than the Legend Pass. But once again, I don't believe that was the case. But I'll be waiting to hear from you what you guys, what is your experience or what you see in your regional prices for this thing. Now, I want to talk about something that it's a little bit funny, annoying for the people that use this, but still a little bit funny. So let me set up a quick race real quick. Tilt control, that's what I'm gonna be talking about. Now, honestly, I have no idea if tilt was a thing in Asphalt 9 on the Switch before Asphalt Legends Unite dropped. I've never paid attention to this because I don't use tilt. But over here we do have it available. We go to controls, then you go over here and you can see controller, tilt to steer. Now, obviously, I'm using the Nintendo Switch Pro controller. I believe that the Joy-Cons also support this, but I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, now with this, what it means is that instead of steering with the D-pad or with the thumbstick, now you can steer by tilting the controller as if it was a little bit of a steering wheel, right? That is the whole idea. We've seen this a lot in the mobile versions of this game. Now, why do I say that this is funny and annoying? Because look at this. Horizon tilt. As I steer, you can see how the screen moves. And this is actually kind of neat if you're playing in mobile or if you're playing in handheld mode here in the Nintendo Switch. Because what it does is that it basically aligns the horizon of the game to be parallel to your IRL horizon. I don't know that I can explain it any better than that. If you know, you know, and if you don't worry too much about it. It's a feature that is useful in that sense, but I am playing right now on a well, not a TV. I'm playing on a monitor, but still, if you're playing on your TV, on a monitor or something like that, that it's stuck in place, it's super annoying to be seeing this. In fact, let me turn it off because I don't want to get you guys dizzy. It can be very dizzying to see the screen moving like that. Again, normally when you see this type of controller scheme with the tilt to steer, they do have an option to cancel the horizon tilt. In that way, even if you're steering with the controller as if it was a wheel, it doesn't change the horizon in the game. It doesn't move the screen as crazily as you saw it happening. So that is something that I imagine they have to fix. They just have to enable the options because mobile has the option. So all they have to do over here is just add the little check mark to like horizon tilt, yes or nah. So yeah, I just think, once again, it's kind of funny. It's kind of annoying for anybody that uses it. I never used it, so I hadn't noticed it until people started talking about it. And I'm like, oh wow, yeah, that's a thing. That's a bit unfortunate for people that like it, but oh well. Now, the other topic that I want to talk about, and is the main topic for this video, it's the steering and people reporting that the game feels slow. It feels so bad. This is terrible. I want the old Asphalt 9 back and all of that stuff. First things first, Asphalt 9 physics and drifting and all of that is not gonna come back here on the Switch. Once again, GameLoft made this known that it was gonna happen. They announced that they were gonna change the physics of the game to be in line with all of the other versions of Asphalt 9, basically removing the special physics that the Nintendo Switch version of the game had. So that is gone. It's gone forever. Now all we have to do is adapt to this new style of physics, be it losing the gasless drift or the steering style. Now, I talked about in the previous video as to how this whole thing of you losing a ton of speed when you're steering, it's always been a thing in the global version. Now, people do report that it's more difficult to do over here on the controller than it is on the keyboard, which is how I play in the global version. I play with a keyboard. But I do see some people don't seem to understand what is the main change or what changed in this version for this to feel so weird. Because maybe people already were using non-gasless drift and things like that. They were already used to how that works, and they're still feeling like this is still weird. You know, steering with my controller is nowhere near as good as it felt with in the previous version of the game, and for that, maybe some people don't know what analog steering is, which is the main change to the Switch. And that is actually sort of a blessing, but if you don't know what it is, if you don't know how to use it, then it does get really annoying. Now, in order to try to explain this, you're gonna be visited by Artist DBT. Hello everybody, I am Artist DBT. Alright, so what is the deal with this? I have a couple of little circles drawn over here. I'll explain. This, you see right here, it's meant to be a thumbstick, right? This is the part where you rest your thumb. The red part is the stick itself that moves in this whole area where you can move it, right? You can move it this way and then it hits this limit. You can move it this way and then it hits this limit. You get the idea, right? So, the way that steering used to work on the Nintendo Switch, we did not have analog steering. I guess you can call it digital steering, I don't know. Basically, you were either steering 100% or you were not steering. Once again, the red part is the stick, so now we're looking at it from above. We're just not seeing the part where you rest the thumb. But yeah, this is just so that you get an idea. So basically what that meant is that if you move the stick a little bit, only a little bit, instead of reaching all the way over here, you moved it over here. Well, let me try to make it a bit more horizontal. You steer only a little bit like this. To the game, it doesn't matter that it had all of this range. To the game, this was already 100% steering. That's terrible writing. I know, it's fine. Don't worry too much about it. If you steered more, it was still 100%. And if you steered all the way to the edge, it was still 100%. So what that meant is that the steering was very different to the way that it is now, because now we do actually have analog steering, where if you move the stick only a little bit, let's say you moved it over here, this might be perhaps 10%. Maybe you steered it all the way over here, maybe this is 40%. Maybe you steered it all the way like this, and this is 66%. Or you can go crazy, and this is 100% of the steering. So this is Asphalt 9 on the Switch, and this is Asphalt Legends Unite in all platforms. This is why it feels so different to drive right now on the Nintendo Switch compared to how it felt before. Because before we had this way of steering. You could not make a small adjustment to your steering other than doing a little bit of a tappy tap of feathering the stick a little bit. You want it to turn a little bit, you need to steer a little, steer a little, steer a little, steer a little, a bunch of times with pauses in the middle to try to only make small adjustments. Over here, now thanks to the analog steering, all you gotta do is steer very, very lightly. Only move the stick a tiny little bit, and then that's, for example, in this case, the 10% of the steering. And maybe some people will get upset at me like, DBT, I know what analog steering is. You don't have to explain this to me, all right? Well, then this video is not for you. This is just for the people who are not understanding why this feels so different now. So for example, over here, I'm steering very lightly. Well, I have to steer harder because otherwise I wasn't gonna steer at all. But say, I'm going at a good speed. Well, this is again a heavy turn. But I want to steer a little bit to the left or to the right. I'm just steering a tiny little bit. And as you see, I wasn't even losing any speed. See, I'm steering and I'm not losing speed. Why? Because I'm doing very lightly. Now, anytime that you have to steer more, the more that you steer, the harder that you steer, the more speed you're gonna lose. I'm not gonna use any nitro. I'm basically going at full speed without nitro right now. And I'm just gonna do a hard turn to the left. Boom! There goes all of my speed. To the right, boom! There goes all of my speed. Why? Because I'm steering way too hard. The trick is to steer very lightly. Now, to be fair, I'm not particularly good at this. I'm not gonna sit here and say, see, I know how to do it better than you do. I don't. I'm just trying to get good at it because it's a very useful skill to use in just about any racing game when you're playing with a controller. So over here, for example, steering lightly to the right, and see, I'm not losing any speed, and I'm steering to the right. Now I steer harder, I start losing all of the speed. So this is why some people perhaps are feeling that the cars are so much slower, because they're steering way too hard, and you're losing all of the speed in any of this crazy steering that you're doing. The trick is just to steer very lightly. Over here, I'm gonna steer lightly to the right, lightly. And you can see that I was still accelerating as I was turning. So it all just has to do with how you're steering. Now, to be fair, if you have the sensitivity turned to 100%, you can see that I have it at 30%. I had to lower it quite a bit. But if you have the sensitivity all the way up, then you have to be incredibly delicate on how you're steering, but it's still doable. You just gotta be super careful with it. See, a little bit, but it's steering very hard still. So I'm trying to do very but I'm losing all the speed. So if you're feeling that you're trying to do very small movements on your... That was already the 4 laps? I set it up to 4 laps, I think. Oh yeah, it was a 5-minute race. Look at that. Beautiful. And we have the replay button over here in Quick Race. I love it. But yeah, if you're feeling that you're trying to steer, let's say you already know how analog steering works, but if you feel like you're still losing a ton of speed, then I would suggest you to heavily lower the sensitivity. I had to do that myself because some people, okay, let's do it with the D-pad. People are saying like you don't slow down as much if you use the D-pad, because on the D-pad doesn't have analog steering. The D-pad is like how it used to be, where you have to tap it. Over here I'm tapping the D-pad to move, and then this is working. But that is because this is not analog steering. This is again digital. Either you're fully steering or you're not fully steering. When you do it with the D-pad, with the stick, with the thumbstick, then here is analog, and the game expects you to be very careful on how you're steering. Once again, it does seem that it's overly sensitive, so I do have to lower this quite a bit for me to feel comfortable. 30% is where I have found myself to be relatively comfortable, and over here I can then do... Hold on, let me get the speed. Do light steering. Well, once again, this is a heavy turn, so I have to steer quite a bit. But let's see, let's get to another turn. Let's build some speed. Yeah. Oh, come on, no. Over here. A little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, lightly to the right. Well, I had to push it a bit more, but I think you get the idea, right? So if you're feeling like you're losing way too much speed and you are very confident with your skills in analog steering, go ahead and lower the sensitivity by a bunch. Don't be shy about setting it very low, because it does seem that it is very, very sensitive. But I tell you, once you start getting used to it, then it's gonna feel more natural. Like I said, here I go, a little bit of steering to the left, little light steering to the left, and I'm going without nitro, nothing. Oh god, all right, that was a bit too light. Nothing to protect my speed, but you can see that I wasn't losing too much speed on doing very light steering. So there you go, that is all that I can tell you if you're having troubles with this. Just make sure to lower your sensitivity quite a bit, and then just practice doing light turns and you will be all right. Because once again, this is how it's worked on the global version for all this time. Now, to be fair, in the global version, I don't play with that controller, so I don't know if this playing with the stick over here is much more sensitive than it is in the global version. I really don't know, because I don't play like that in global. In global, I play with the controller, and that's why you will never see me doing light steering. Only weird tapping shenanigans, because that's all I can do with the keyboard. But I'm comfortable doing that, so it's fine by me. But over here, I'm trying to get used to it. But like I said, I really can't tell you if this is more sensitive than is it in the global version. But I guess you'll have to tell me. But once again, look at this. Turning so slightly, ever so slightly, and I'm not losing speed. Obviously, the sharper a turn is, you're going to have to either drift it, you're going to have to use perfect nitro to protect the speed loss, or whatever it is that, you know, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you how to play the game. You know how to play the game. I'm just trying to tell you what is the main difference as to how the steering changed from Asphalt 9 in the Switch to Asphalt Legends Unite here on the Switch. And like I said, I honestly have been having a lot of fun with this thing. And you know what? Let's jump into some multiplayer just to close my thoughts over here. So, for all of my lovely Switch players over here that are having a hard time with this, all I can tell you is don't despair, practice, and you'll get back to it in no time. Like I said, I've been playing this version mostly for the past couple of days, more than the global version. In fact, I was playing, this is MP2, the season just started, but just some hours ago, the previous MP2 season ended, and I've been playing enough where I was able to get all of the rewards from that MP series, which again is not too much in the sense that it's a very short series in terms of rewards and milestones. But yeah, I've been playing with this thing, and like I said, I've been having a good time. And maybe, once again, because I'm so much used to this type of this physics, because I've been playing the global version for all this time as well. So this doesn't feel new to me. I knew that some cars are going to be horrible at drifting, and you know, now I need to be more careful with them, whatever. But I've been having a good time with this. And honestly, I'm exceedingly surprised at the performance of this game here on the Nintendo Switch, because to be completely fair, it performs better than Asphalt 9 did here on the Switch. Now, I've seen people talking about like, oh my god, the graphics are so oh god. The graphics are so bad when you compare them to PC or high-end mobile. Well, yeah, but once again, this is the Nintendo Switch. It has really weak hardware, and for the weak hardware that this thing has, the way that this game looks, and more importantly, the way that this game runs, it's unbelievable. I'm really pleasantly surprised on how well this is performing for the platform in which I am playing it. Now let me jump real quick into MP1. Again, I already got into Silver League, which is not too difficult, honestly. But yeah, I definitely have been playing with this. Let me see, Silver League. What should I use over? Shall we try the Aston Martin Vulcan? Nobody uses this car normally, or nobody used it before in the old multiplayer, so let me use it over here, see what it can do. But yeah, like I was saying, it's just a matter of getting used to how the game feels now. Like I said, don't despair, people, just keep on playing it and you'll get good at it again. Like I said on my previous video, I imagine that the people that are gonna have the hardest time to adapt to the game is gonna be the aliens of the game. Meaning the people who were insanely good at gasless drift, you know, basically the people that were insanely good at the game as it was on the Switch These, I think, are the people that are going to have the hardest time getting back to that level of proficiency in a completely new physics system. But this is, unfortunately, the price to pay in order to... Oh god, this thing drifts horrible. Jesus. This is the price to pay for this level of interconnectivity and all of that good stuff. So, yeah. I understand some people are going to be quitting the game because of this, because they're not going to like it anymore. But... like I said, unfortunately, this was just an announced situation. We knew that this was going to happen, and yeah, I can see how some people would be exceedingly frustrated by this. I'm doing okay, because once again, I'm used to how the game feels. And yeah, just having a good time over here with a game that is actually performing pretty alright for running at 1080p, while the Asphalt 9, I would prefer to run it at 720p so that it would run a little bit better. So... like I said, overall, I'm having a good time over here. I'm sorry if you guys are having a terrible time. Once again, try lowering the sensitivity, try practicing the light steering, and eventually you'll get to it. And you'll see that if you do actually manage to master the light steering in here, you're probably gonna end up getting even better times than you did. Or maybe not, because the gasless drift was really helpful. Whatever. Regardless, this is the new normal, so it's just a matter of practicing, and I do hope that you guys can get past the frustration of the new learning curve. But let's remember, we were all new at some point in the game. Now you are kind of new again, so all you gotta do is practice, 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 and eventually you'll get it. This is coming from the totally... not really a pro player DBT, but hey, at least I can play and have some fun, so yeah, that's my suggestion. If you're frustrated, well, just keep playing it and just endure the learning process. Alright, if you enjoyed this video, you know what to do. Hit the like button, all of that good stuff. Once again, subscribe to the channel, consider the pro memberships, but that's all for now. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye!